Everyone, welcome to Confidence Leads to Success, a series of conversations empowers women to realize their true potential and reach new heights. I'm your host, Elif Köse, and today we have a remarkable guest who's here to inspire us with her insights and strategies for personal and professional growth. Please join me in welcoming Anne-Marie Graham, an inspirational leader and founder of Mindset Success Strategies. With a successful background in the corporate world, Anne-Marie brings a wealth of experience and knowledge to her work. As the owner of the Health Force Group, she oversaw its growth and eventual acquisitions with Health Watch, making her a respected figure in the industry. Anne-Marie is a best-selling author, an accomplished speaker and a trainer who has worked with numerous national and international corporations on topics such as employee health, well-being, and statutory obligations. Her expertise is firmly rooted in her comprehensive understanding of the healthcare field. However, her true passion lies in mindset success strategies, where she helps individuals, groups, and companies unlock their true potential and achieve both personal and professional goals. Today, we will dive into the main points Anne-Marie would like to emphasize during our conversations. So, because she firmly believes that true change begins by shifting our paradigm, enabling us to take control of our future and manifest the life we deserve. We will explore how changing our mindset, connecting with our purpose and passion, and transforming our dreams into reality can lead us from where we are to where we truly want to be. Get ready to be inspired and motivated as we delve into the world of mindset success with Anne-Marie. Whether you are seeking personal growth, professional development, or both, you are in for transformative experience. Welcome, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you so much.
It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
You are based in Ireland.
Yes, based in Dublin. Yeah.
Amazing.
So not too
Well,
far away.
you mentioned that changing our paradigm is crucial for permanent change in our lives. I really would love you to share a personal experience or story that illustrates how shifting our mindset can actually create a significant transformation or even a breakthrough in our life.
Well, my own story is actually the most applicable one there, Ella. I'm a very unlikely business owner. I'm a nurse by profession. I failed business studies in school. One of the subjects in school that I would have been weakest at was maths. And I was told by my business studies teacher at 15, Anne-Marie, you wouldn't make it in business. You're not good at maths. You know, it's great you want to do nursing. Stick with that. Is more or less.
Thanks.
Thanks, So now, I did always want to be a nurse. I always loved helping people, empowering people. My clinical background is neuroscience, so neuro rehab was a huge part of that, which actually is probably where my love of coaching and development of people and the whole area of mindset started. So clinically, I then moved from that just mainly because I went to London to work. I trained in nursing in Dublin, and then I went to Charing Cross Hospital in London. But there were much fewer opportunities at the time to move back to Ireland in the neuroscience field. So I didn't want to continue doing shift work and night duty and 12-hour shifts and all that sort of stuff. So I moved into workplace health, and that was actually my first business. So I started that in 2004. I grew it successfully over an 11-year period. I acquired one of my competitors in 2012, merged the two businesses and sold it in 2015. So having had the paradigm through, because I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, even though I always wanted to be a nurse, I always loved, playing shop outside, like setting up my little shop and selling juice or whatever to my neighbors and my family for a penny and for a cup. So always had that. But I always put that to the back of my mind because I thought, no, I wouldn't be quite for this. I failed business studies and I'm not good at maths. I wouldn't be able to do that. But the idea of the business never kind of went away. And
Mhm.
when I worked for one of the corporate providers in the UK, Bupa, in their workplace health part of their business, I thought this is a model I could bring back to Ireland. This is something I could do because I really knew I was good at the health. And I thought, surely if I get my mind right, the business, I can develop a business. If other people can do it, I can do it. And that's really what I did. So I started with no business experience, no business background. I don't come from a business background, but I started working on my own mindset and becoming a successful business owner in my head before I was ever successful in terms of my bank account. So that was
Amazing.
the paradigm shift that I had to go through myself.
So did you use any kind of modalities to switch off that teacher's conversation that's saying you're not good at math, you mustn't do business? I bet that kept coming up to you every time when you decided to
Mhm.
have a business. It's really
Mhm.
important who you speak to.
Yeah.
How did you switch that voice in your head off?
So the first thing we have to do is become aware of it, because the voices in our head, our saboteurs, were created for us in our little life by parents, by siblings, by friends, by teachers. It's not that a lot of parents did it deliberately. They didn't say, I'm going to mess this child's head up, but they just did the best that they could do for the most part. If parents did the
Mm,
best they could do at the time. Same with teachers, same with, siblings, friends. But the way we internalize things in our childhood, and when I say childhood, I mean even up to the age of maybe 12 to 15 years old. So,
mm.
you don't have the emotional intelligence and you don't have the logic to say, well, actually, hold on a minute. Yes, I'm weak at maths, but I can count and I can use a calculator. And so I had to
Exactly.
become, I had to become aware of that voice. And then I had to use the tools, that I had learned from fantastic mentors like Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, who's gone now, God bless him, Brian Tracy, my own coaches that I had over the years. I had to use the tools that they were giving me to shift that perception. So we will find what we focus on. If I stayed focused on, I'm not good at maths, that was always
Yeah.
going to continue to bring me down. But I was really good at connecting with people. I was really good at workplace health initiatives. I was really good at, strategies and hiring a good
Hmm.
team of nurses. And so that's what I had to shift the focus to and say, I learn
Amazing.
the rest.
Amazing. That's
Mm.
really inspiring. It is really important to to be aware of our feelings and our emotions and our thought processes and taking control of it rather than letting control of us. You say, I see you, I hear you, I know what you're talking about, but I have got other ways to do it. I'm going to deal with it in my way. And congratulate you. It's brilliant.
Thank
Well, I'm going
you.
to ask you something about like because you talked about your business and your bank account because I'm going to bring it to the money mindset because many individuals struggle with their mindset and which actually limits their earning potential.
Mhm.
I wonder if you could provide our listeners with a practical tip or a technique that they can implement right away to start shifting their money mindset
Mhm.
and align their earning capacity with their true value that they
Mhm.
deserve, not because of what their conditionings
Yeah.
growing up, but
Yeah.
with
So
their own
the
authenticity.
the first thing I would do get clients to do, Elif, is to look at how they grew up around money, because that does shape what their paradigm or their mindset or their mental block or whatever we like to call it, what their limitations are around money. So did they grow up in scarcity? Did they grow up where there was just enough? Did they grow up where there was an abundance of wealth but no respect for money? Because that does shape the beliefs about money. Rarely do I have to work with men actually on money mindset, but I always have to work with women on it. So I do think there's a gender difference there. I don't know, is it that women are more emotional in terms of what they do? They don't want to charge. They feel that it's not fair to people. Whereas men will, I sometimes have clients that are over the years I've had clients that are male, and I think, how are you getting that kind of money? And I could have another client in my head saying, why are you only charging that much? But the one thing with money, you have to get comfortable with getting rid of all of these cultural BS paradigms that there are about money. So in Ireland in particular, you know, your health is your wealth, money is the root of all evil. It's not. Nobody is saying you can only have health or wealth. What if you could have both? Look at with money, do you like helping people? If money wasn't an issue, how many more people could you help? What's your favorite charity? How much money could you give to them if money wasn't an issue? So I think if you can start to see money as a reward, an earned reward for service rendered, be that, you know, whether you're a coach, whether you sell, you know, groceries in the local shop, whether you're Richard Branson with Virgin Airlines flying people all over the world. But I think if we start to see the energy of money being a reward for the service that we give, then why wouldn't we be rewarded if we're transforming people's lives with the services that we give or the products that we provide? So that's a big part of what I do. You know, I speak for a lot of US companies, and I always say, in Ireland, definitely, you know, there is a cultural paradigm around money. And I said, you know, guess what? We are a famine nation. It's very comfortable for our ancestors to have thought money was the root to all evil because they didn't have any. But that, you know, it's just that's something that's carried down through generation after generation, but it doesn't have to be true. So question those kind of things that were said around money when you were growing up.
Yeah.
And
Money doesn't grow on
on
trees,
trees,
or
yeah, yeah.
like you have to work really hard to earn the money. If you don't work hard, you don't deserve the money.
Mhm,
Therefore, I don't deserve it, so I don't have it. It's just like the
mhm,
belief that we put
mhm.
in ourselves. And money is energy. I
Money
truly
is
believe
energy,
that. And it
absolutely.
only comes to you if you believe that you can have it,
Yeah,
if you believe that you deserve it,
yeah.
not because with your words from text, but
Mm,
with inside, with
inside,
all of your
yeah,
being.
yeah. Yeah, and you know, sometimes I will say, if I'm speaking on a stage, I would say, you know, if I said to you, I want you to go and rob 5 people's wallets, that's going to get you $1,000. Then obviously that's not a good energy around money. But if I said to you, you're going to provide, say, 4 coaching sessions that's going to help someone transform their business, well, then
Hmm.
of course that energy should be rewarded with that money
Absolutely.
coming in. But the money has to be welcome. If there's a block about money, you won't attract it. You know, that's the law of vibration. The way we think, the action reaction of our thinking is what draws in the results that we have.
Hmm.
So if we repel money, we're not going to receive it.
That's true. Well, this conversation just popped something up in my mind, because like connecting our true purpose and our passion, but still having the fear of being financially free and having the money issues. Like there are so many people looking for this kind of fulfillment, like doing our purpose, doing our passion, loving what we do, but still earning money. But they can't seem to get to that alignment. What
Mhm.
advice would you give, or what exercise would you offer to our listeners so it will help them uncover their true purpose and
Uh,
align it with themselves?
yeah, so like, I use a lot of Jack Canfield's tools in relation to finding your true purpose and finding your purpose. So, but it always comes back, regardless of what tools you use, it always comes back to what brings you joy. What do you love doing?
Hmm.
And if you can find the things that you love, so even say, for example, if I look at myself, I always loved helping people, caring for people. If people were sick, I was always the one, you know, to ask for the okay. And all through my life, I've been in jobs where helping and caring for people were integral because that's
Hmm.
purpose. I always felt my purpose was. So even when I moved into the workplace health business, it was doing
Hmm.
medicals on corporate employees around their health. So you're hoping, you know, that you'll either prevent them having ill health or you'll diagnose something early. Now it's in relation to coaching and personal development and business development, which helps people grow their lives in a number of ways. So,
Hmm.
and that's what I've always loved to do. Uh, so so I think look at what are the things that bring you the most enjoyment, the most fulfillment, the most fun, and where can you bring service to the world or a product to the world out of that.
Amazing. Amazing. But because what I always hear, like when I ask during because I specialize in confidence, and it always comes down to confidence when it comes to even following their dreams or whatever they believe that brings them joy. But no one wants it. It always comes to that question. But they always would say, well, I want to work and earn money because I want to pay the bills. But it's actually beyond that. I think that's the money block comes in front of
Mhm.
them. I need the money, the energy of like needing the money
Of
in
need. It's a
desperation.
scarcity mindset. Yeah.
Mm,
Whereas if the energy was, I want to help 1 million people change their lives through helping them grow a mindset that fulfills them in their business and grows their business, very different energy to that. Whereas if I say I
isn't
need to help 1 million people so that I can earn $1 million or £1 million or euro or whatever over the next 3 years, there's a, you know, it's very scarcity mindset orientated. And what I
amazing.
would do as well, and this is one of the tools that I used, it's the kind of act as if you're already there. So to see it in your imagination. So if we look at children, the way they can use their imagination, imagination is one of our higher mental faculties that, let's be honest, in most education systems, certainly Ireland and the UK, was knocked out of us in school. You're told, don't be daydreaming, stop, looking out the window, concentrate, when you're off in a
Mm,
little world of your own. But one of the tools that the first coach I ever worked with gave me was to visualize. It was all around visualization, where you're going into your imagination. And I was seeing myself with a successful business, seeing the corporate clients come in, seeing the bank account grow, seeing me being able to help more people, live in a nicer house, buy a nicer car. That was all going on in my imagination before
hmm
I had that in the physical world. And I remember that business coach, it was in 2006. Jack Canfield had come to Dublin for a day. And I think the day at that time was €500 for a 1 day seminar. And I was like,
Wow.
it's a lot of money.
That's
And
money,
Alan said, Emily,
yeah.
you need
Back
to
in
go.
2006. It's
Yeah. So
huge money.
he said, you need to go. You're going to love this guy. He had given me one of his books, The Success Principles. He knew I was passionate about self-development and my background in neuroscience, etc. So I went to Dublin, and one of the first exercises Jack did on stage was visualize what it is you want. Get what you want. Get what you see what you want. I think he had some title like that on it. So he was there talking to us about visualizing yourself, with the success already achieved. And I literally was looking going, is this guy
Mm.
real? Is he smoking something? I did not believe this. I really did. I was literally going, I paid €500 to listen to this, go into my imagination and see it and believe it, and then it will come. I was, totally skeptical. But I persisted with it, and I did the visualizations. I did them every day. I started to get into it. I started to believe in it, and the things started to happen.
So how long did it take you before that realization, that imagination, the creativity in your mind came to a realization?
That's always a work in progress, Elif. So when I started
Mm,
doing that with that first coach, I was probably, I would say, easily a year and a half, 2 years before all of the things started to come
hmm
together, and I was manifesting more abundance in the business, the
hmm
dream car, things like that. But I guess it's trusting in the process. I trusted in the
Yeah.
process, and I thought, if these guys, like taking Jack Canfield as an example, I went to see Bob Proctor as well, Brian Tracy, and I thought, if these guys are so successful worldwide and this stuff has worked, then it will work for me. I just had to believe and
I
trust
love that.
it work.
I love that. I always hear the similar stories of like you have to trust the process and focus the step you are in before
Mhm,
you just look at the bigger vision. Your vision is
mhm,
always going to be there, change, grow, and continue to grow.
mhm,
It's a journey at the end of the
mhm.
day. But you really trusted your coach and followed the steps, and you're growing exponentially. I love seeing your success. You are really inspiring.
Thank you very much. But, and you know, the other thing, I guess it's a mistake that I made for a number of years. And I talk to my clients, and I'm very honest with my clients. It's where the trust also involves having the feeling for what you're doing. So, not just doing the mechanical, visualization, setting time on the phone for 5 minutes, closing your eyes and just daydream. You actually have to feel, what will it feel like when, I
Hmm.
have that bank account, or I have those clients, or I have that house, or I
Yeah.
have that holiday, and it doesn't matter what, I think sometimes we're afraid to do this because we fear judgment,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter if it's a house or a boat or a yacht, or if it's, you want to be able to get your health back and climb a mountain. It doesn't matter what your what is, it's personal to you. But it's
Hmm.
really getting into the feeling of it rather than doing it mechanically. That's probably the mistake I made for the first few years, and I see a lot of clients make.
Because we're logical, we're smart, logical people. We want to see it to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I
Mm-hmm.
always say that you've got to believe it to see
To
it.
see it. Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
so wonderful. Honestly, Anne Marie, I could talk to you for hours. Thank
Thank
you
you. It's
for
been lovely.
sharing. Thank you for sharing your invaluable insights and expertise. Your wisdom is truly inspired me, and I know it will inspire all our listeners.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have a question for the listeners now, and ask them, are you ready to embark on a journey of limitless possibilities and become the architect of your own success? If the answer is yes, then I invite you to contact this amazing woman. I'm sure she'll help you remove all those money mindset blocks that you have in your head to create a life that you want. If you want to stay in touch with us, you can just go to confidenceleadstosuccess.com and sign up to our email list so we can send you all the information you need. We will have our arms wide open and support you on your path to greatness. Thank you for being a part of this empowering episode. And remember, the power to transform your life lies within you. Seize it, embrace it, and create the extraordinary future you deserve. Thank you, Anne Marie.
Thank you.
Until next time, goodbye, everyone.